What is going on, YouTube, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and welcome to the Binkz and Doodle Effect, episode number 39. It has been a while since we got to sit down and have one of these podcast discussions, Andrew. It's been 4 weeks. A lot has happened in these 4 weeks. Life, vacation, couldn't get to record. You know, the stuff happens, and we completely apologize, especially since we left you on a big cliffhanger in the last podcast. But we're back. It's going to be a weekly thing once again. We're going to be falling right back into the groove. Andrew, how are you doing on this fine night?
I'm pretty great, man. How are you?
I've been better. Sport podcast, but like PlayStation account was just hacked. Took me forever to get my account back. I'm a little stressed, a little drained. But at the end of the game, at the end of the day, I got the account back, so we're chilling, we're Gucci. But Andrew, you know what would probably wake me up?
What would wake you up, Steve?
Probably some Rogue Energy. Did you know if you use the code word Get Livid, and you see on the bottom of the screen right here, you get 5% off your entire purchase? Unbelievable! You guys should always go. You should just go to Rogue Energy, make a big order. Use Get Livid, 5% off your entire purchase. You'll just thank us later. It's delicious. Probably should have made myself one before we started casting, because I am mentally drained from all the phone calls I just had to make. But nonetheless, let's get started with baseball. Probably the most recent thing that happened that we can talk about: All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Polar Bear, back-to-back champion, hitting absolute bombs.
35 in the first round, new record.
He didn't even look like he was trying.
In the first round, I don't think he was.
The man,
he was just in a groove.
And you know, people I saw a bunch of tweets with like, oh, he's cocky and everything, and I was like, he was just having a good time. He was straight vibing. I mean, he was, you know, bobbing his head around. He was enjoying his music. He was enjoying himself, and I mean, that's what you have to do. You can't go to the Home Run Derby just being like, I'm gonna win. You gotta have fun with it, and that's exactly what Alonso did the first time he won, and that's exactly what he did this year. And I couldn't be happier that he ended up winning.
Yeah, considering the rest of the Derby didn't go as people expected, that was pretty dope. Everyone tuned in to watch Shohei Ohtani, but they started watching Pete Alonso instead.
Ohtani was a little bit of a disappointment. He was the favorite to win it all, and I personally blame the person pitching to him. I don't think the person pitching to him was giving it to where he wanted it, and I mean, granted, it's not all him. I mean, Ohtani also didn't have it for like the first couple of swings, but when it comes down to it, Ohtani was also out taking BP for like 20 minutes before
he was gassed.
He gassed himself out. I mean, Alonso took a couple of swings, went to the air conditioner, went to the hallway where they just pump oxygen into you. I mean, he did it right. He was just chilling. I mean, all the other players who were, you know, batting were dripping sweat. They looked gassed. Alonso was just straight chilling the entire time. Not a single piece of sweat on that man.
I think he was shotgunning beers in between, too. They just didn't show that.
Oh, he was definitely on something. 100%.
He had to.
No shot he wasn't on something. He was
too much vibe.
Exactly. Way too much. All-Star Game. I would have thought the National League would have won. I feel like we are the better league overall in the grand scheme of things, so it's a little surprising to me that we lost, but it's a game that means absolutely nothing, so.
Could not care less.
I watched the final 3 innings and saw that we were losing. I was like, it is what it is.
I mean, Vladdy winning the MVP was pretty cool. Youngest player ever to win an All-Star MVP.
Yeah, and rightfully so. The man's having an unbelievable career. Start to a season, and I did have a stat on him, but I don't think I actually have it anymore, which is kind of depressing. But it took him the same amount of time. I'm trying to look for it real quick on my phone. It took him the same amount of time to reach the home runs that he has in the amount of games that he had as his father. And I thought that was such a cool stat. Yeah,
That's very freaky.
I don't see it. I deleted it on accident. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it was something along those lines though. Like in the same amount of time, it was like 400 or something games or 300 something games where his father Vlad Guerrero in the same amount of games they both have the same exact amount of home runs, and that's just a wild stat, and the odds of that even happening is ridiculous as well. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Very deserving people.
Speaking of well-deserving, Jacob Degrom, second fastest pitcher to hit 1,500 strikeouts. The only person to do it faster has been Yu Darvish. Degrom, I'm happy he didn't go to the All-Star break. Didn't go to the All-Star game.
Me too.
I'm happy he declined pitching. Let this man rest. He needs all the rest he can get because we're going to need him now for the second half of the season. The Mets are notorious for choking at this point. So we hopefully the whole team rests up, they get their mindset for a good second half, come out firing. We verse the Pirates in Pittsburgh. We should not have lost the 2 games that we lost before the All-Star break to the Pirates. Those are the games that you would have to win. You can't lose those games. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we start, the second half of the season with a sweep, and take it from there.
And I need to stop going to games.
Yes, Andrew, you need to stop going to games. One of the weeks we did not do the podcast, our boy over here, DrewskiDoodle, was in Atlanta, and I think that's the game where Atlanta pummeled us like 20-2 or something like that.
Yeah, sir.
It's something like an unbelievable type of game. If you're,
you can actually see me almost get drilled by Ronald Acuna Jr.'s home run in the first inning.
Can you really?
It landed like 6 seats away from me. Yeah, it landed at the end of the row I was in.
You should have.
And the Pete's home run was one section over.
You should have ran down to that Acuna home run to where the guy was holding the ball. Just been like wave your hands real quick and then go back to your seat, just because you definitely would have been on camera then.
I'm super identifiable because I'm the only person wearing that deep blue jersey.
Got you.
But I was watching a home run come in, and this dude just catches it barehanded. I'm like, bro, what the hell? I went to go get a drink like 2 innings later, and I was like, how's your hands feel? And he's like, not good.
Yeah, that hurts, man. You don't realize how fast that ball's coming in and how hard it is. It hurts.
The slap of that ball hitting his hands just will haunt me.
Can you think of that with your hands, and then imagine being beamed by like a 102 mile an hour fastball?
Ugh.
Like that's just pain. That's unnecessary pain, and they just take it like
I'll
a
pass
champ.
on that.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah,
definitely good on that. NHL, Stanley Cup,
TBL,
back to back, Tampa Bay.
Again,
was there any doubt at all?
No,
there was no doubt. I thought Tampa was going to win 4. Part of me feels like they threw game 4 to win in Tampa, but who knows? But they definitely could have won in 4. The Canadians had no reason or right to even be in the Stanley Cup. They should have been a first round exit, and it's proof that the best teams don't always go to the Cup.
Nope, that's the hot team. The hot team wins, baby.
It's the hot team. Does not matter where you're seated in the playoffs. If you get hot,
goaltender.
Yeah, exactly that. You get hot, it does not matter what your seating is. You can make a run in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
You have Pat Maroon now with 3 Stanley Cups in a row.
Good man, good guy.
Which is just unreal.
I'm just happy it wasn't the Islanders. I couldn't enjoy the entire playoffs just because if they're in it, I can't enjoy it. Personally speaking,
yeah,
so and of course they had to go to Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals to make me just completely.
They had to make us sweat.
And of course, it had to be a 1-0 game for them to lose too. So
it gotta make you sweat, man.
It definitely made me sweat because I was talking. I think it was you about it. If the Islanders had made the Stanley Cup, I was going to be rooting for them in the Stanley Cup just because I wanted the Stanley Cup to stay in America. I would not want Canada to have the Cup. So I would have had
the Cup go to any country in the world than the Islanders.
I don't know about all that. You got to keep it in our home country, man. That's like rooting for Canada in the Olympics.
The last place I want to see the Stanley Cup is in our hometown.
That's fair, but I would rather see it in our hometown than another country. So it is what it is.
We also got the expansion draft in a week, 1 week from today.
For the Kraken.
Well, yesterday, technically.
For the Kraken. Who do you think the
It's gonna be
Rangers?
a damn good team.
Who do you think the Rangers give?
It's gonna end up being what's his face, Brett Howden. Thank God. I hope they just signed him to like a 1 year or 2 year deal, and I think he's gonna be one of the guys exposed. Well, he's definitely gonna be one of the guys exposed. They're not gonna protect him, and he'll probably get taken. I don't think it's gonna be one of their fourth line guys. There's no point for Seattle to do that. Might as well take the young guy, who some people think could be good, and I'm not one of those people.
I have no opinion on the matter because I don't even know who you're talking about. So couldn't care. Couldn't care.
David Quinn loved. He loved this kid. He's just not.
Well, then I hope that he's gone because anything David Quinn loves, I hope goes away because David Quinn was a terrible coach. So I'm optimistic. I'm very excited with the new coach. Think it's going to be good for the team. I would like to see the Rangers name a captain instead of having 5 alternates.
I believe that was during Chris Drury's press conference. That was one of the things he said. He wants to name a captain, but he's also not just going to do it. Like, it's got to be the right decision.
Yeah,
they got guys.
You need a captain, and I think it should be Mika. Personally,
I do too, but I've heard a lot of people saying that, like insiders, that low key could be Jacob Trouba. Apparently, he's very, very vocal in the locker room. There's a lot of it that we don't know about that goes into it.
Yeah, no, a lot of back end stuff in the locker room that probably never gets publicized. We only see what we see on the ice and the leadership on the ice, and Mika has definitely exhibited that as like a overall team leader. If it's not Mika, I would next to
Adam Fox.
Probably I would like Adam Fox as a captain. Yeah, maybe not just yet. Maybe down the line you can probably have Fox if Mika was captain and then left. But I was gonna say Kreider would probably be next in my head for captain.
I'm all aboard the Adam Fox train.
I love Fox. Adam Fox is a great guy.
That Norris Trophy, baby.
All about Adam Fox. Love that man. I would get a Fox and a Meek and as a Benedict jersey, but I don't want to jinx them like I usually do. I would every jersey I own, that person goes away. Every single jersey. So I've stopped getting jerseys of my favorite team.
Luckily, I don't have that curse because I have Mika, Fox, Kreider, Panarin, and Lafreniere.
Jeez. Yeah, no, I was saying, I said in previous podcasts, I was gonna get a Darnold jersey to continue it, and I guess me saying I was going to get a Darnold jersey
just made it happen.
So I want a Lindor jersey, not getting a Lindor jersey. I want a McNeil jersey, Degrom jersey, not getting neither of those either. So I don't, I need a...
You don't touch them. You stick with classic jerseys.
We'll stick to that. I have a nice little last name jersey for the Mets that I usually wear, and I also have a Harvey jersey. So...
That's fine.
That's fine.
You can get Mike Piazza.
Exactly, right?
Henrik Lundqvist.
Exactly. Not current people. Unless I want them to be traded, I'll get their jersey.
So when's your Familia jersey going?
Oh, dude, you know what? That's the next one. I should get a Diaz and a Familia jersey. I should just get a list of our ballpen and just get a jersey for every single person in our ballpen. And maybe that'll turn him around. Jeez.
Our bullpen's been very good.
I don't trust him as far as I can throw them. UFC, Conor McGregor versus Poirier, round 3. Disappointed.
That lasted 35 seconds.
Very disappointing. I was all about. I was this close to betting McGregor, just because because I thought he was going to. Well, I mean, I thought he was going to win because of the hype around him, and he came. He
was the underdog.
Yeah, I didn't want to bet on the favorite. You're not really going to get a good payout, but I was. McGregor was. When I was looking at it, was plus 110. So it's pretty much your money back plus another 10 if you're betting every.
Yeah, the line was almost even. Even Poirier, I think, was minus
140
or something.
No, Poirier was minus 140. So I wasn't betting Poirier. If I was gonna bet, I was gonna bet McGregor, and I really thought like, hey, like, listen, he's pissed after the second one. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of smack. He's gonna come out firing, and he did. McGregor did come out pretty much firing, and then once he got Poirier in that guillotine, it just went downhill from there, and Poirier kind of had control.
Well, from there.
If for those who didn't see, you can see it's a graphic thing on anywhere at the time.
Everywhere.
his ankle bent in a way that no ankle should ever bend. When he by just taking a step back, it just kind of flopped. I agree with Poirier what he said during that post interview. I think one of the kicks kind of
fractured it.
Hairline fractured it, and it was like and it probably hurt McGregor, and the adrenaline probably took away that pain. But now he was fighting on a weak ankle, and just one small misstep, even if it's it would just be enough to kind of just crack it. And that's
I don't know how a fully intact ankle would just crumble like
exactly. That. I'm no bio major, but like that doesn't seem right.
No,
your bones just don't do that. So he had to have hurt it with one of the kicks, or he may have done something while he had him in like the guillotine. So
yeah. Then that whole interview with Joe Rogan was kind of weak sauce.
He listen. McGregor is definitely a head case. He's not a good person. Yeah, I just love the hype around him and the vibe.
I don't know. I disagree only because it's all for show. Like it's just, but that's why I think he didn't. Because normally after most of his losses, he gets super humble, and I think it's because he wants another fight, so he wants to keep up the rivalry. But the stuff about Poirier's wife was not okay.
Yeah, you need to.
Because when he got his ass kicked by what's his name? The dude really confused Khabib, whatever his name was. He was like super humble after that.
Well, it's Khabib is the best fighter in that division, hands down.
He's unreal, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't even the fight I was watching it for, man. I was watching it for Sean O'Malley. Your boys want some money off that man. You might be saying, but he was minus 900. How'd you win any money? Because we bet specifically in the third round. And dear God, can Chris Mutino take a punch? That man got hit 240 times and is alive. I would be a pile of dust on the floor.
How much did you win?
I bet $50 and won 400.
Good for you, man. Good for you. And
the odds were plus 700.
For legal reasons, you were in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Their sportsbook, everything is legal to bet there. For legal reasons, correct. Yes. When I was watching that O'Malley fight, the group I was with, we were all just stunned as a group that this man didn't get knocked out. Because he was
being aggressive.
He just kept getting
he was coming in for more.
Dude, his face from round 1 to round 3 looked like two different people.
Oh yeah, was it in like the second round? Joe Rogan goes, "This dude's face looks like roadkill now." Like it literally did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you can get hit so much and still come after someone. Not only be on your feet, but actually walk towards them.
I was saying that they should have gave him the win just for staying in it like that. Like it's as a fighter, you just went 3 rounds, got hit that many times, and you didn't go down. That's a moral victory. I would have walked out of the room and be like, "Hey, I didn't win the fight, but like I won." Like in my heart, like that, yeah. I would have taken that as such a moral victory.
Arguably the best fighter in that division too. Like this was nuts.
Mm-hmm.
His stock just went up so high.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
He's going to be a name now.
Definitely, the next fight he's going to go into, he's probably potentially could be a favorite depending on who he's fighting, because like who he's fighting. He showed that he could take a punch. He could last all 3 rounds. It's good. Hats off to him. Literally, hats off to that guy. He did a great job.
I do have to say, a lot of people didn't like the referee calling it off, and aside from it winning me money, because I was sweating because 30 seconds left. He had to. Like he was. If you watch the replay, you can hear him. He's yelling at him like, "Put your hands up! Put your hands up!" And he wasn't. And O'Malley hit him with like 5 straight punches.
At that point, though, with as many times as he got hit, another 17 seconds. It was literally called.
How much damage he could do in 17 seconds?
Yeah. No, you should. If anything, he should have called it earlier. Then If he was gonna call at that point, you
disagree
just let it go. Just let it go at that point. I mean, if you let him get abused that much already, just let it go. If you were so concerned about him getting damaged, and maybe don't let him get hit over 200 times in the first 2 rounds. So, you know what I mean? So, I understand why, but then at the same time, if you were actually that concerned, you would have stopped the fight way sooner. With that little time left, even like the announcers were like, "Really? Like you're stopping it, really?" So, it is what it is. Did he have to knock for your bet to win? Did he have to knock him out in the 3rd round, or did he just have to win in general?
No, it just had to end in the 3rd round.
Oh, so if it didn't end in the 3rd round, you would have lost.
I would have lost.
So like if it would have just went to a judge's decision. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So you
are
so thankful then. You are so thankful.
Oh my god, we were at the beer garden outside at the Borgata, and it's like they had the fight on a bunch of TVs, and we're just standing there like sweating as time watching the clock tick, and like we wanted to make sure that he didn't knock him out in the 1st round. So we're watching the 1st round. We're like, why is this 5 minutes the longest 5 minutes ever? Then in the 3rd round, it went from 5 minutes to 1 minute real quick. And as soon as the ref stepped in, we seen him go like that. We started sprinting in circles. It was pretty great.
I'm happy for you guys. I'm definitely happy for you guys. Going forward, last podcast, Andrew, I asked to get at least 5 likes and 5 comments to release my Tom Brady story that I know I've been getting texted by our group of friends and people who watch, and people have commented, and they want to know where this episode is, because they do want to hear the story, and I'm sure you want to hear this story as well, and the reason behind that my opinion has changed from Tom Brady, and I will be telling it now. So I was with my friend, like I said last podcast. He was a very big Patriot fan, very big Tom Brady fan, and we were talking about greatest of all time. I said I didn't think so. He kind of looked at me like, "Are you kidding?" type of thing, and we were going back and forth and discussing the reasoning, and like I said to you last podcast, it was the first like mature adult conversation I've ever had about Tom Brady with anyone in my life. No offense to you or our group of friends, my dad, my uncle, anyone. It was the first actual mature conversation I've ever had with Tom Brady, because he understood what I was saying, and it never seemed like any of you guys ever understood what I was saying. Because everyone I've ever talked to is like, nah, 7 rings. 7 rings. No. Playoff record. Playoff stats. Completely irrelevant for GOAT. Completely irrelevant, in my opinion. And he understood that. And he understood where I was coming from. He actually listened to me. Because I was saying, every time Brady has won a Super Bowl, he's had a top 10 defense. Every single time. Every single time. He has those playoff records because he's always been on a team that's made the playoffs. I mean, you could be the worst. I could be a quarterback of the Patriots and go to the playoffs every time, and I will be within the top 10 all time if I'm making the playoffs fucking 17 years out of the 20 that I'm in the league or something like that. I'm going to have some sort of record and pass other great quarterbacks because they didn't make the playoffs as many times. He has those records because he's on a great team all these years, and he's always in the playoffs because of being on a good team, and it starts with always having a top 10 defense. Defense wins championships. He completely understood that and was like, yeah, no, obviously his records probably are never going to be broken. Probably not. But he has them not because of, obviously a great quarterback, but he's not the most talented, and he even admitted that. He's like, Tom Brady is most definitely not the most talented quarterback to ever play the game. Tom Brady may not even be in the top 10 in the most talented quarterbacks to ever play the game. And he got that. And I'm talking pure, raw, physical quarterback talent. And that is what I've always based my GOAT status off of, is your actual ability to play quarterback position. And if you remember during this the past Super Bowl, Andrew, I put in our group chat, I gave you 4 quarterbacks. If you remember that. And I didn't name who the 4 quarterbacks was. I just gave you 4 quarterbacks and a description of those 4 quarterbacks. Every single one of you who answered, and every single one of my friends who answered in another group chat, all took Tom Brady last in that group. Every single one of you chose 3 other quarterbacks over Tom Brady. When you look at just pure skill of level as a quarterback, and you don't have a name next to it, Tom Brady is not even looked at in the top 3 in your case, because every single one of you took him 4th. And I gave my friend that same analogy, and he understood where I was coming from again. And once again, we went back and forth, and he finally was saying, overall, he asked me, like, do you think Tom Brady overall is a good quarterback? I said, I think Tom Brady's a great quarterback. I think he's great. I don't think he's the best, but I think he's great. And he then went on to say, you take that greatness of he's a great quarterback, and he has all those records, and he has those rings, and he has all these accomplishments, and that is why he is speculating him as the greatest of all time. It's not just his ability to play the game, it's everything in his career combined. And I get that, and, but I was still basing my thing on pure, raw talent of quarterback. And he said, all right, so what is, your perfect quarterback? And I said, I would take Peyton Manning's, defense, being able to read the defense, Peyton Manning changed the game completely. I think we could all agree on that one. I would take Aaron Rodgers' mobility, Aaron Rodgers' arm strength, Aaron Rodgers' accuracy on the run. I would take Drew Brees' pocket accuracy. I would take Brady's pocket accuracy. If we could just morph all those big things combined, Patrick Mahomes' style. If you could morph all that, you would have the perfect quarterback. And he kind of just looked at me, and as we were going on back and forth, and he said, so you really do base your whole GOAT status on, you could throw the ball hard, you could throw the ball accurate, you can move out of the pocket. And I went, yeah. He went, so by your description, Michael Vick should be the greatest quarterback of all time. And I just stood there. And I was like, well, no. And he's like, no. You said you want arm strength? Michael Vick could throw the ball like 80 yards in the air. Michael Vick could throw the ball on the run on a dime. Michael Vick in the pocket, bullet right into the numbers. Michael Vick is one of the best mobile quarterbacks, I think, better than Lamar Jackson of all, to ever play. He's like, by your definition, Michael Vick should be the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. And no one has ever said that to me, and no one's ever responded with that to me ever in my life. And I kind of just sat about it, and I couldn't actually speak for like 5 to 10 minutes, and I was just looking at him, and I looked at him, I said, I don't have a comeback to that at all. And he looked at me, he was like, exactly. He's like, Tom Brady's the GOAT. And I was like, I kind of went into like a mental, like the gears in my head were like trying to spin, but they weren't spinning, and there was like sparks starting to happen, and like there's an implosion in my head. And I went, oh my God, I finally met someone who was able to counter my argument realistically. And I didn't know what to say. And he, like I said, he understood. He's like, granted, should Tom Brady even have 7 rings? Both agreed, no. But that's also the game of football, because his first ever ring, he shouldn't have ever been in the playoffs. I mean, he shouldn't have ever been in the Super Bowl. I mean, the tuck rule, that was a fumble. That wasn't an incomplete pass. That was a fumble. The Patriots should have lost that game against the Raiders. Brady should have never had his first ring. But that's football. Brady shouldn't have beat the Seahawks. All the Seahawks had to do was run the ball. Brady shouldn't have went into the Super Bowl again after they beat the Colts with the deflated balls. I mean, it's all that I've always knocked him for. And he understood that, and he took it in and accepted it. That none of you guys ever have either. But in the end of the day, that is football, and stuff happens, because then you could say, hey, every no-hitter that got robbed, let's look at replay, you can't adjust that now in history. I mean, it happened. Just like what's his face's perfect game that we talked about. Whatever that, I forget the guy's name. Clearly an out at first base. Guy called him safe.
Andres Galarraga,
yeah. Yeah, him. You can't, replay now, that would have been a perfect game. But you can't go in the history books and change it to a perfect game, because then you would have to go into the replay of every close, you would have to examine every game that's ever been close and stuff. So, after crying inside a little bit for about 15 minutes. I looked at him and was like, all right, you win. And he smiled at me. And I went, Tom Brady, based off of our entire conversation, Tom Brady is the greatest of all time. And he's like, exactly. He's not the most talented to ever play the game, not by a long shot. But overall, he's got to be looked at as the greatest of all time because he is definitely the most accomplished of all time. But with all the accomplishments and all the records that he holds, you have to look at him as the greatest of all time. Not because of talent, but with everything as a whole. And that is why I changed my opinion. So if you ever look at me and say Tom Brady is the most talented quarterback of all time, I'll punch you because he's not. But I will
None
say...
of us ever said that.
Well, no.
No, greatest of all time is... Greatest of all time in anything ever has nothing to do with talent. Anything at all.
But that is what I've always based my argument off of, and none of you guys have ever listened.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's why I've never recognized him as the GOAT, because he is not even probably top 5 talented quarterback ever to play the game. I can name 5 quarterbacks easily who I think have more talent than Tom Brady. But none of you guys also like to accept that Rodgers is a better quarterback than Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers is truly a better quarterback than Tom Brady. Drew Brees is a better quarterback than Tom Brady. Peyton Manning is a better quarterback than Tom Brady. They didn't have... The big factor that they didn't have was defense. The one time Rodgers won a Super Bowl, he had a top 10 defense. One of the times Drew Brees won a Super Bowl, top 10 defense. Manning, top 10 defense. Brady, every single Super Bowl, top 10 defense. Defense wins championships, and it's a big team game. And I think Brady gets a lot more praise than anything, but I've come to grips, and based off of that discussion with my friend, he is the greatest of all time based off of that, because I can't counter Michael Vick. Because Michael Vick, based off of my descriptions and my analogies and my look at the best quarterback ever to play, Michael Vick then should be the greatest to ever play, and Michael Vick is not the greatest to ever play. So, that is why I changed my opinion.
Very interesting, sir.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed that on why I changed my opinion. Tom Brady is the GOAT, and wherever he is, victory follows.
That's fact.
I mean, when he was in Michigan, Detroit Red Wings won the Stanley Cup. All the championships Boston has won while he was a quarterback. In New England, he goes to Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay Rays go to the World Series, but did they go to the World Series last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They lost to the Dodgers.
Yeah, they went to the World Series. They didn't win, but they went to the World Series.
They were there.
The Lightning has won back-to-back years. The Bucks now have won the Super Bowl. So, listen, Tampa Bay Rays, I think they're the favorites right now in the AL. So,
aggressive.
Everywhere that man goes, victory follows. So, that's my story. I changed my opinion. Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. You guys can stop ragging on me now.
But it's a pastime.
It is a pastime, but you guys can't do that. You guys can find something else. I have a lot of unpopular opinions when it comes to football.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yeah, you guys can still rag on. You guys can rag on me about Sam Darnold when he balls out for the Panthers this year. Unpopular.
I'm waiting for it.
Like I said, listen, he's gonna do better with the Panthers. He's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback though. I like using my joke. The only way Sam Darnold's gonna bring his team to the Super Bowl is if he buys his entire team tickets. It's the only way Sam Darnold's going to go to the Super Bowl. So, do you have anything to add, Andrew?
No, I think that's about it.
All right, I think we can call that an episode. The story kind of put us way over the limit. So, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like. If you enjoyed my little rebound story, throw a like down. Comment down below what you thought of it. Hit the subscribe button. We're going to be back every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. If you're listening to wherever you listen to podcasts, give us a 5-star review. If we see it, we will give you a shout out. We're anywhere podcasts are available. Website is coming soon within the next week or two. And you guys can start buying merch like this and this. So keep an eye out. We'll give a nice little announcement. Follow our organization on Twitter at Lividity LLC. And until next time, guys. Peace out.
Stay sexy.